Hello, this is HBM's Cryptid-Corner for Wednesday, June 29th, 2016. Didn't know if I was going to do a show this week or not, since I said I was going to do a show every other week, but I said, what the heck, I'll do a show this week. So, I have a few news items to talk about, so let's get started. A couple of the news items are going to deal with the Survivor man Les Stroud. And the first story, there was a clip from a show that premiered last year on Science Channel Canada, and then it premiered on Discovery Channel in America. And Les Stroud was out, unfortunately, with Todd Standing, and apparently an apple was taken, and Les was trying to figure out what could have taken it. Um, the mere presence of Todd Standing would seem to indicate that maybe there was some chicanery going on with him, not with Les Stroud. I'm not accusing Les Stroud of anything. I'm talking about Todd Standing, not Les Stroud. So let's make that clear. But it was still an interesting episode. It was an interesting series of episodes. I believe it was 7 parts. That was the second Survivor Man Bigfoot series. The first one was 2 parts. So anyway, this was a shot taken on a trail cam. And something took the apple. Don't know what. Don't know who. Again, though, with Todd Standing around, you got to be kind of wary. Next story is about Sasquatch stories, and it's also from Survivor Man Bigfoot. And there was a short interview with Bob Gimlin about the Patterson-Gimlin film, and very interesting stuff. Les actually went to Bluff Creek for that episode, and did some looking around to see if maybe he could spot something, maybe spot some evidence. I believe on that episode he found some, I think that was the one where he found some bent over trees, which appeared to be not natural or man-made or anything like that. I have to go back and watch that episode again, but I believe that's the one. Could those trees have been bent by something or someone? Nobody really knows for sure. But no, wait, they weren't bent. They were turned upside down, much like the trees in Alaska. If you've ever seen the pictures in J. Robert Alley's book, Raincoast Sasquatch, of these trees that were turned upside down and the roots are pointing towards the sky. Absolutely fascinating. What or who could have done that? Now, there are those who say, well, it was a prank by loggers, but I don't think so. I don't know. It's really fascinating. Next is a report from Kentucky. Now, the Bluegrass State has been known for having Sasquatch activity for quite a while. A good friend of mine, Charlie Raymond, and the Kentucky Bigfoot Organization have been looking into reports there for quite a while. A fellow named Don Biggiefoot Neal is investigating a new sighting in Hopkins County, which looks like it's very interesting. That's a pretty hot report. We're talking happened on June 9th of this year, just a few weeks ago. So it's amazing. These reports keep happening, even though there are people who say that these creatures no longer exist. They never did exist. But yet people keep seeing them. And these are people that aren't looking for publicity. They're not looking to be on television. They're not looking for notoriety. Some of them don't even want their names mentioned, which I find quite fascinating. And I give a lot of credibility to those individuals, the ones who don't seek that notoriety or publicity. So, it's very interesting, and I don't see any motive for these people to be fabricating something. I've talked to a couple of individuals who didn't want their names mentioned, and I think they had some credible encounters. I think they saw something or they experienced something. But this is, these are the kind of people you want to talk to, those who don't want notoriety. They don't want their names out there. They just want to tell somebody what they saw because they feel it's that important. Now here's something interesting, some chilling howls recorded in northern Manitoba, but this is a breakdown of those sounds. Now, it has been said that unidentified sounds are just that, unidentified. Sometimes you can hear weird noises in the woods and you might think, could that be a Bigfoot? Could that be something unusual, something strange? And 9 times out of 10 it turns out to be a fox, or it turns out to be a raccoon or a deer or something very mundane like that. Occasionally, though, you do hear something that you just cannot figure out. You can't identify it. Of course, sometimes it turns out to be an owl, too. I forgot to mention that sometimes owls can make some weird noises. Oh, and coyotes. Don't forget about coyotes. I always go back to the example of Thomas Steenberg on the Chehalis Reservation in 2006. And the coyote which seemed like as if it was being squeezed by invisible hands. I always go back to that example. So, yeah, sounds are interesting, but really, they're inconclusive because they can be made by anything, or even people could be hoaxing things. A good friend of mine from Pennsylvania, Dave Groves, is sharing his Sasquatch encounters with Ed Brown. And you can probably see this sketch or this painting right here. This is by Sibylla Irwin. And Dave actually received that particular painting from Sibylla at the recent Ohio Bigfoot Conference. He obviously worked with Sibylla on his sighting, and of course Sibylla, very talented lady, very sweet lady too. And Dave's report I think is very credible. He was out on an ATV and he comes across something he never seen before. I'm sure he probably heard about Bigfoot, but most likely never thought he would encounter one. So I'm sure it was a shocking and surprising thing for him. I can tell you that myself, when I had my sightings and my encounters, they were extremely shocking and surprising to me. And trust me, folks, when you see one of these things, or you have two sightings in your life, it changes you. It changes your perspective on everything. It really does. Just ask all the witnesses who have had sightings, and those who sleep with their lights on, for 3 months. Those who have psychological problems, they have nightmares because of what they saw. These people are really affected by what they've encountered, what they've experienced. I think after the second sighting that I had, after I got home, I used the bathroom, and it wasn't number one. So it does affect you in some ways. It traumatizes you. My good friend Todd Neese, he once described it almost as a feeling of mental rape, mental violation. That's how he described it. When he had his sighting in 1993, it really changed his perspective on things. So this certainly really does quite a bit to your psyche when you see one of these things. Finally, today I want to highlight a good friend of mine. I haven't met her, but she's a good friend of mine on Facebook, and one of the guest hosts on Coast to Coast AM, Miss Connie Willis. She has a new venture coming forth called Blue Rock Talk, and she's going to go around the country and she's going to talk to people about strange and anomalous occurrences, whether that be Bigfoot or ghosts or UFOs or psychic phenomenon or other cryptids besides the big hairy guy. And she wants to invite you to come along with her. Or at least, if you can't come along, you can at least help her out financially. Not really sure how much it's going to cost a month, but she does have a Patreon account set up. So for those who can donate, I'm sure she would appreciate the donations. But I just want to highlight this because Connie, she's really passionate about her interests. She's passionate about Sasquatch, which is great. She really is deeply interested in the subject. And she was recently in the Pacific Northwest for I think it was the Habituation Conference, which was held by Dr. Matthew Johnson. And she is deeply interested in all these different anomalous subjects. So I recommend everybody checking out her YouTube channel. Look at her YouTube channel for further updates. I'm going to link the YouTube channel below. Just like, of course, I always put all the links to everything I talk about below. So I would recommend everybody check it out one time, won't you? And that is going to do it for this week's HBM's Crypto Corner. Might be back next week, you never know. Oh, and by the way, 3 weeks till Beachfoot, for those of you who are going. Those of us who are going, I should say, because, yep, this guy is going to Beachfoot, and it's going to be great. And they've already announced the speakers for this year's event. They have the legendary Peter Byrne. He's going to be speaking. Ron Moorhead, Dr. John Bindernagel. It'd be great to see him and his wife Joan again. Last time I saw them was in Yakima 2014. Who else? Derek Randalls. Yes, Derek Randalls' Olympic Project. David Ellis is going to be speaking for the Olympic Project. And also an individual I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, J.C. Williams. So it's going to be great. I mean, it's going to be a tremendous time. That'll be held at River Edge Campground near the Alsea River in Oregon. And it's going to be tremendous. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. I'm counting the days. I'm getting very excited about it. Anyway, thanks guys for tuning in. And I know that my last video about MK Davis engendered a little bit of controversy. One of my subscribers wasn't too happy with it. He said he would continue to support my channel, but he can't support my my last video. He can't support the things I was saying. And that's okay. Nobody has to agree with me. Nobody has to, like everything I say or everything I do. That's okay. I don't mind. But Mick, hey, you're still aces in my book, buddy. And I'm glad that you're still hanging in there with me. Really appreciative. Even if there's a video or two I may do that you might not like. But it happens. A lot of us do stuff that somebody else is not going to like. It happens. But I appreciate everybody who does watch this channel and who does watch these videos every week or every other week, depending on what my mood is. And trust me, I'm going to have a lot of content from Beachfoot for you guys. Because I bought a brand new tripod about 3 weeks ago. And it's an awesome tripod. I can even put a smartphone on it. Instead of just a regular camera, I can put a smartphone on it and do some filming with it. So you guys, you might see some video shot with my camera and some shot with my smartphone. And yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be off the chain. So until next week, y'all be good or be good at it. This has been HBM's Crypto Corner.